Hi everyone, welcome to join us today for our discussion of Taiwan New and Existing Chemical Substance Registration, or commonly known as Taiwan REACH. My name is Weisin Chai. I am a Regulatory Compliance Specialist in ChemADVISOR. Let's see our scope of discussion today. First of all, we'll get an overview of Taiwan REACH. Next, we'll talk about the Taiwan Chemical Substance Inventory. Following by that, we'll go over the details of new and existing chemical substance registration. And the confidential business information may be of your interest. Finally, we'll learn about the newly introduced Chemical Commodity Importation Pre-Confirmation, the CCIP. Let's talk about the history of Taiwan REACH. Taiwan REACH has been introduced since 2009. The first existing chemical substance nomination, the ECN, was conducted on a voluntary basis in 2009. After completing the ECN in 2010, Taiwan published a draft inventory. In 2012, Taiwan reopened the ECN and named it as SECN, the Supplementary Existing Chemical Substance Nomination. In 2013, two major regulations were amended to make Taiwan REACH mandatory: the Occupational Safety and Health Act and the Toxic Chemical Substance Control Act. To make the inventory more complete, Taiwan once again reopened the inventory in 2014 and named it as the SSECN. Similar to the ECN, the existing chemical substance audit was carried out to provide more opportunities for industries to participate and make the inventory more complete. After the revision of Occupational Safety and Health Act and the Toxic Chemical Substance Control Act, Taiwan introduced regulations of new and existing chemical substance registration and regulations on new chemical substances registration in 2014. After the inventory was officially published at the end of 2014, finally, the Taiwan REACH has officially implemented since January 1st, 2015. To avoid the repetition of registration between OSHA and EPA, Articles 6, 7, and 31 of the Regulations on New Chemical Substance Registration were amended in 2015. We just passed the Phase 1 Existing Chemical Substance Registration, or known as the pre-registration, on March 31st this year. The pre-registrations applies to chemicals manufactured or imported continuously in the past 3 years, or as the maximum in any 1 year of the past 3 years, with a quantity of more than 100 kilograms per year. After April 1st this year, the Phase 1 Existing Chemical Substance Registration is known as late pre-registration. It applies to existing chemicals manufactured or imported after April 1st this year. This is something we need to pay attention. Taiwan plans to announce the first batch of phased-in existing chemicals before December 31st, 2017. And for new chemicals, registration has to be done 90 days before the manufacturer imports. So, who can be the registrant in Taiwan REACH? You have to be domestic manufacturers or importers. Or if you are foreign manufacturers or importers, you may appoint a TPR in Taiwan to do the registration. In order to do so, you have to process the notarization. Currently, the only representative, the OR rules under EU REACH, is not adopted in Taiwan. Now, who are the responsible parties in Taiwan REACH? It is administered by the EPA, the Environmental Protection Administration, and OSHA, Occupational Safety and Health Administration, under the Ministry of Labor. The SATEC, Safety and Health Technology Center, is appointed by OSHA as the executive unit. Taiwan REACH is covered by two major acts from two agencies, the EPA and OSHA. The regulations of new and existing chemical substance registration was enacted based on the Toxic Chemical Substance Control Act and the regulations of new chemical substance registration was enacted in accordance to the Occupational Safety and Health Act. Both of these regulations serve as the backbone of the Taiwan REACH. This is a simplified picture to show the timeline of the Taiwan inventory. It took almost 6 years and huge effort from the government and the industries to establish the inventory. This slide provides the website to access the inventory. To find if a substance is listed on the inventory, you may search through case number, serial number, or the Chinese or English chemical names. If you have more than one chemicals, the website is also kindly providing function of multiple searches at a time. In addition to the website, you may also search the inventory through the ChemADVISOR's Lolly database. This slide shows you the comparison of the size of inventories around the world. As you can see in red color, the size of Taiwan inventory is pretty significant as compared with inventories of other countries in the world. Now, what are new and existing chemicals? The existing chemicals are simply the substance listed on the inventory, while the new ones are those you cannot find from the inventory. Not all substances are subjected to Taiwan REACH. Now, what are the exemptions? The natural occurring substances, substances supplied in machines and equipment for test run purposes, the inseparable intermediates, substances used for national defense purposes, incidental reaction products or impurities with no commercial use, the substances under customs supervision, waste, polymers applied to 2% rules, and mixtures. Please keep in mind that although mixtures are exempted, the substances in the mixtures are not. They shall be registered. And then articles are also exempted. And finally, other substances designated by the authority. Taiwan REACH is categorized into several types of registration. First of all, we talk about new and existing chemicals. Under new and existing chemicals, the type of registration is depending on the tonnage band. For new chemicals, there are 3 types of registration: the small quantity, the simplified, and the standard registration. For regular chemicals with more than 10 tons per year, and the CMR, the carcinogenic, mutagenic, and reprotoxic substances over 1 ton per year, for this, in addition to standard registration, you have to submit the hazard and exposure assessment. The R&D chemicals, on-site intermediates, polymers, polymer of low concern, and the CMR substances, all of these substances have different tonnage bands. Please be reminded that polymer of low concern requires prior confirmation from the EPA before the registration. So you need to get an EPA to agree that a particular substance is polymer of low concern. I mentioned about pre-registration and late pre-registration for existing chemicals in previous slide. We learned the type of registration. Now, what data do we need to submit in the dossiers? A list of data requirements is provided in this slide. The standard registration has the highest tonnage band. Therefore, more information is required in the registration. The tox and ecotox information, hazard and exposure assessment reports are required only in standard registration. The small quantity registration just requires the basic information of the identity of substances and the registrant, and also the substance, manufacture, and use information. We knew the required data. Now, how do we submit the dossiers? CHEMIST, the Chemical Information System and Tool. It is used to prepare and submit the dossier. A single window is designed for registration with OSHA and EPA. You can find the Chemical Substance Registration portal from the website provided in this slide. After the submission, Taiwan requires the following time to review the dossiers. The small quantity, the polymer of low concern confirmation, and the phase 1 existing chemical substance registration take only 7 working days. The simplified and standard registration have more data to review. They take 45 and 14 working days respectively. Once again, I would like to remind you that the new chemical substance registration shall be done 90 days before the manufacturer or imports. The review periods are provided, but Taiwan may extend that with maximum of 1 time. When being asked for further information, registrant may need to revise or amend the dossiers. The revised dossier shall be submitted within 30 working days, and the revision shall not exceed 2 times. After being approved, the registration information will be published online through the website provided on the slide. The publicly disclosed information is listed on this slide. I will let you know which information on the list can be claimed confidential in next slide. Joint registration, it may be filed for several registrants of same chemical. In this case, registrants may use information which was already submitted by previous registrants. This can prevent duplicate testing. The cost of the data may be shared under an agreement by all registrants. EPA does not take control on the joint registration. EPA will just intervene only when requested by the registrant. To avoid some information being disclosed to the public, registrant may file the CBI. There are certain criteria to meet. First of all, when you claim the information confidential, you have to prove that it is not commonly known. In addition to that, the protected information has economic value, actual potential, due to the secretive nature, and when you want Taiwan to keep it secret, you have to maintain the secrecy by yourself as well. Not all information can be protected. Registrant information, substance identity, information on manufacturer imports, substance use information, those are the information you can claim the CBI. The CBI application shall be done within 3 to 6 months before the registration. The protected periods are 5 years for standard registration and 2 years for simplified or small quantity registration. Renewal shall be done 3 months before the expiration. And you cannot have your information protected forever. The maximum is 15 years. At end of March this year, SATEC launched the CCIP through an information technology platform. Through CCIP, all stakeholders, including the chemical substance registrants or domestic importers, the TPR, the overseas enterprises, all stakeholders may participate by offering substance registration related information and ensure the compliance of registration rules. The CCIP is a self-declaration practice. Pre-confirmation of chemical goods or commodities is filed before the import. CCIP is done on a voluntary basis. There is no punishment given for importers who fail to participate in CCIP. But the chemical products without a CCIP receipt will take the precedence during an inspection. You may complete CCIP in 3 steps. First, accept the disclaimer, fill in the information, and finally print and keep the receipt of CCIP. This slide shows the required information for CCIP. For substances exempted from Taiwan REACH, you need to provide the reasons for exemptions here. I will show you in next slide to get the CCC Code. CCC Code can be searched through the Taiwan Bureau of Foreign Trade website. It is searchable by Chinese or English product name. The link to the CCIP website is provided in this slide. You need to register before proceeding to CCIP process. After declaring all information needed, you will get a receipt of CCIP. The receipt is used as a communication tool between the upstream and downstream users. It plays a role to facilitate inspection or surveillance through the custom or the EPA. What if the industry failed to comply with the regulations? For unregistered new chemicals, the fine is ranged from 200,000 Taiwan dollars to 2 million, which is approximately 6,000 USD to 62,000 USD. The violation for unregistered existing chemicals may be fined for about 900 to 10,000 USD. Taiwan REACH may not be as complicated as the EU REACH, but you may still need our support from ChemADVISOR. In addition to Taiwan website, you may search for the inventory through our LOLI database. We are also pleased to provide you with the product review services. We will review your chemical products and determine the type of registrations and the detailed requirements in the registrations. Other than that, we can also help you to appoint the TPR and facilitate the registration process. So if you have any inquiries or looking for any support from us, you may contact us through our offices in the US, Europe, or Asia.